How strong is Shadow Mewtwo, a version of Mewtwo that is canon, that appeared in Pokken Tournament? Let's get into it. A lot of people have this idea that Pokken Tournament isn't canon, even though it's produced and serialized by the Pokemon Company. Everything in the Pokemon franchise is canon, otherwise said by the Pokemon Company. So if Pokemon's company outright stated, oh yeah, Pokken Tournament isn't canon, it's not canon. But if they didn't, they serialized the game, it's its own region like any other Pokemon game, it is canon. This goes for the manga, the movies, and a bunch of the TV shows. There are a few movies that aren't canon, that are just movie canon, which is different from the regular canon you all know and love. But yes, Pokemon Tournament is canon. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start talking about how strong Shadow Mewtwo really is, and to understand that, we need to dive a little bit into his lore. Anne was the original trainer of Mewtwo, and how did this even happen? How did Mewtwo turn into Shadow Mewtwo? So there's this thing called the Shadow Stone in Farum, and what it does, it takes control of the user it corrupts. And it was about to happen to Anne, but Mewtwo instead took the hit and became Shadow Mewtwo. After Mewtwo became Shadow Mewtwo then went on to absorb Gaia energy exclusive to Farum, which greatly boosts its powers and abilities. Keep in mind, the Shadow Stone was also corrupting and manipulating Mewtwo in the process. And the Shadow Stone merely boosted Mewtwo's already existing powers and abilities. He's still the same Mewtwo, just corrupted and more fierce. The Shadow Stone merely made him even stronger than he was before. So instead of just being Mega Mewtwo X, the Shadow form gives him a complete boost to his power. Although there's no statements that tells us the multiplier that the Shadow Stone provides, we can safely assume that it's much stronger than Mega Mewtwo. Now let's get into how strong regular Mega Mewtwo X really is. Mega Mewtwo X's best feats are being able to survive and even take hits from Deoxys, and even land a hit and dealing damage to Deoxys. The same Deoxys that goes up against Rayquaza on a daily basis. Mega Mewtwo X was able to go up against Zygarde 50%, who was bloodlusted at the time because of Lysander. He was able to tank a Crunch, and he was able to keep up and react to Zygarde's speed. So this would put him at high universal and infinite speed, because Zygarde went up against Ultra Necrozma in its 50% state. The same Ultra Necrozma who can power up an infinite 3D structure that is Ultra Space. If you don't really understand what I'm saying, or don't understand scaling at all, I'll leave my scaling tutorial video that I've made and posted on this channel down in the comments below. But basically, Mewtwo would be high universal with infinite speed. But there's more, because Zygarde was able to defeat Fates Collide Alakazam, and yes, everything in the Pokemon franchise is canon, meaning Shadow Mewtwo would be relative to this Alakazam as well, being relative to the same Zygarde that beat that said Alakazam. This Alakazam fused two universes together, which would be a low multiversal feat, which would put Mewtwo X at low multiversal and infinite speed. And although Shadow Mewtwo doesn't have an increase in power level, we do know that Shadow Mewtwo has better comfortable feats than Mewtwo X. It's able to do things that Mewtwo X couldn't at a very consistent level. Probably the best one that it's done is create a galaxy with its mind. It is so strong that it's able to create a galaxy with no problem at all. It's able to create its own dimension as well, and use powers that regular Mewtwo, could never do. Overall, Shadow Mewtwo is a very strong Pokemon, and it's able to do things that Mewtwo X and Mewtwo Y can't do. And it's able to do that at a more consistent level, like create galaxies out of thin air in base form. Shadow Mewtwo is a very unique and cool Pokemon, and is very strong for its own good, but I would like to see more Shadow Pokemon in the future. They're just really cool and have unique traits. The only other one we've gotten to see is Shadow Lugia, so if you guys want me to do a video on Shadow Lugia, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time, and leave a like and subscribe. Peace.